tremendous support within the Republican Party. If you look at Congress, you saw, with all of the numbers, you saw just a very small group of people voting, and it wasn't really against, it was a vote to open. It wasn't against, because I think everybody agrees. Frankly, the Democrats agree that you need border security. They agree that you need a barrier. I put out a quote this morning of Barack Obama. I put out a quote this morning of Hillary Clinton in 2015. That was a few years ago, strongly saying that you need a border to keep illegals out. And that's what you have to have. But it's not just illegals. It's criminals. It's drugs. It's the new phenomena that's been age-old, been going on for thousands of years, but it's never been worse than now because of the internet. Human trafficking, where they grab women, put tape over their mouth, come through our border, and sell them. And they go both ways, in both directions. Now, they don't go through a port of entry. That they'd be caught. But they go up where there's no wall. They make a right. They go to Mexico. Look, we better get smart. Human trafficking is a big business. It's a big deal. Dealing in children is a big deal. Children are probably the most harmed by not having the wall or its equivalent. But if you look at the human trafficking, they come in, they nab women, they grab them, they put tape over their mouth, they tie their hands, and they take them to another country, and they go right over that border. If we had a powerful wall or its equivalent, they wouldn't be able to do it because they'd have to go through ports of entry.
Mr. President, how will a compromise look? How do you envision a compromise potentially shaping?
Look, I can say this. Everybody's playing games, but I can say this. I think that the Democrats want to make a deal. I really do. I feel that.
What is the deal? Will you come down from 5.6?
We'll call it something different. I don't think I have to. That's for this year. We'll call it, we'll call it something different. A lot of work has been done on the wall. There's been tremendous renovation. And if you look in San Diego, there's been new wall built, which doesn't get reported. I don't know why. You don't want to report it. But take a look at San Diego and other areas. We've had new wall built. But we can do much more if they give us the money to do it. But a lot of work has already been done. You know, when they say build the wall, I don't say that anymore. I say finish the wall, because we have done a lot of work. If you know, the $1.6 billion and $1.6 billion for 2 years, it had language in that really allows you to build a certain amount of wall, but mostly renovate existing walls. We've renovated a lot of walls, and they've done a very good job.
So you can't imagine something like 2.5 or some figure.
So we'll see what happens with DACA. DACA's right now before the United States Supreme Court. If the court does what most great legal scholars think they'll do, they won't give President Obama or President Trump the power to do what President Obama did. And if that happens, it will be a great thing for our country. You know why? Because we'll work out a deal very fast with the Democrats on DACA. We'll work out a deal very quickly with Democrats on DACA.
Are you waiting for that to happen?
We're waiting for the Supreme Court decision.
Will you keep the shutdown going on until the Supreme Court decides?
We'll see how long the shutdown goes on. Look, this shutdown could end tomorrow, and it could also go on for a long time. It's really dependent on the Democrats.
What are the chances it ends tomorrow?
It's really depending on the Democrats. Well, we're going to see how we do here. And everybody knows, all you have to do is read today's Washington Post. And you see where big surges of people are coming in and trying to get through the border. Some of that, a lot of that is my fault. You know why? Because I've created such a great economy that people are pouring up to try and get jobs. So you could say it's my fault. And I want people to come in, but they have to come in legally. They have to come in legally. They can't come in the way they're coming in, because criminals are coming in, human traffickers are coming in, drug dealers are coming in. We can't have it.
Mr. President, this impacts the economy, sir. The longer the shutdown goes, there could be an economic drag.
Our economy is doing so well. Nobody understands how well our economy is doing. Our economy is doing so well. And don't forget, I'm paying interest. I didn't have funny money to play with. President Obama had zero interest. I have interest to pay. And now a lot of people that weren't getting interest on their money for many years, you understand, they're now actually getting interest on their money. But he was playing with funny money because there was no interest. We're playing with paying interest, like in all fairness you're supposed to be doing.
Mr. President, what do you expect out of the China talks on trade this week in Beijing?
The China talks are going very well. I spoke to President Xi recently. I really believe they want to make a deal. The tariffs have absolutely hurt China very badly, but our country is taking in a lot of money through tariffs, a lot of money, a lot of tariffs, steel dumping tariffs and others. But I think China wants to get it resolved. Their economy's not doing well. They're down close to 38%. That's a lot. And I think that gives them a great incentive to negotiate. But we're doing very well with China. My relationship with President Xi is as good as any relationship that a president here has had with a president or a leader in China. And I think good things are going to happen. Now, I say this, North Korea, we're doing very well. And again, no rockets. There's no rockets. There's no anything. We're doing very well. I've indirectly spoken to Chairman Kim, and when I came here, this country was headed to war with North Korea, and now we have a very good dialogue going. Very good. We have, with North Korea, we have a very good dialogue. I'm going to not go any further than that. I'm just going to say it's very special. And anybody else but me, you'd be in war right now. And I can tell you, the previous administration would have been in war right now if that was extended. You would right now be in a nice, big, fat war in Asia with North Korea if I wasn't elected president.
Do you have a place in mind for your next summit with Kim Jong-un? And do you have a place in mind for your next summit in Europe?
We're negotiating a location. It will be announced probably not in the not-too-distant future. They have made it very clear. In fact, they've actually said to the media that they would like to meet. And they do want to meet, and we want to meet, and we'll see what happens. But the sanctions remain in full force and effect, and they will until we have some very positive proof. But I will tell you, we are doing very well with North Korea, and we're also doing very well with China on trade. The other one is Iran. Iran is doing very poorly. Once I took the horrible Iran nuclear deal off, it's had a massive effect in Iran. They're pulling back troops all over the place. They're not doing well. They want to talk.
What about
In Syria, we've had a tremendous impact. When I went there, don't forget, when they went to Syria 5 years ago, they were supposed to be there for 3 to 4 months, and they never came out. We are pulling back in Syria. We're going to be removing our troops. I never said we're doing it that quickly, but we're decimating ISIS. When I was elected president 2 years ago, ISIS was all over Syria and all over Iraq. We've wiped out ISIS in Iraq. We wiped out ISIS, and we're doing it for two reasons. We're really doing it because we don't want them coming here, just so we understand. But we're doing it for a number of reasons. Now, we're helping other countries when we do that too. You have to remember, Iran hates ISIS more than we do, if that's possible. Russia hates ISIS more than we do. Turkey hates ISIS, maybe not as much as we do. But these are countries that hate ISIS. And they can do a little of the fighting in their neighborhood also, because we're fighting them in their neighborhood. But with that being said, we're pulling out of Syria, but we're doing it, and we won't be finally pulled out until ISIS is
How
gone.
long is the pullout period?
Well, it's going quickly.
How many months? Isn't on an agreement with Turkey to protect the Kurds, as John Bolton said today, to withdraw his position?
John Bolton is right now over there, as you know, and I have two great stars. And John Bolton is doing a great job, and Mike Pompeo is doing a great job. They're very strong, and they work hard. And as you know, they're doing things that are very, very good. We're coming up with some very good results.
That's why the defense secretary
Well, I'm in no hurry. I have acting, and my actings are doing really great. David is doing great at Interior. Mick Mulvaney is doing great as Chief of Staff. But I sort of like acting. Gives me more flexibility. Do you understand that? I like acting. So we have a few that are acting. We have a great, great cabinet. If you look at my cabinet, we have a fantastic cabinet. Really good.
And doing a good job on the shutdown negotiation.
I think we're doing a great job with the shutdown negotiation. We have no choice. Look,
You need to be
there will be, excuse me, I'm totally involved, but I'm involved with principles, because ultimately it's going to be solved by the principles. Schumer and Nancy Pelosi and myself can solve this in 20 minutes if they want to. If they don't want to, it's going to go on for a long time. I will tell you this, if we don't find a solution, it's going to go on for a long time. There's not going to be any bend right here. And the people that voted for Donald Trump, which are a lot of people, one of the great elections ever, those people are for it so much. And let me tell you, people that didn't vote for Donald Trump are for it also. They want border security. They want to stop human trafficking. They want to stop drugs. They want to stop crime.
Have you invited them to the White House? Have you invited Pelosi to come to the White House?
Thank you, Mr. President. Have you accepted Speaker Pelosi's invitation to deliver the State of the Union and will you do it in person on the 29th?
I will be making the State of the Union on January 29th, and I look forward to it. I look forward to it. And I look forward to speaking really before the world. We have a lot of great things to say. Our country is doing better than any country in the world right now. Our military is almost completely rebuilt. When I took it over, it was a mess. It was depleted. Our trade deals are going great. We have a deal with Mexico, with Canada, with South Korea. We're negotiating with Europe, the European Union. We're negotiating with China, which is by far the biggest of them all. We're doing very, very well.
American detained in Russia, Paul Whelan. The American needs to.
Well, we're looking into that.
We're looking
into that.
When will you
Done about federal workers who are calling out sick right now.
Look, they have to do what they have to do. But many of those workers agree with me. And I think, frankly, there's been very little of that so far, as you know. Very, very little. Okay, any more? Thank you, everybody.
Are you willing to withstand politically?
I don't like doing this. I have no fun doing this. I was elected to protect our country. That's what I'm doing. And presidents before me have all voted for this, or many of them, and many of the senators that I'm negotiating with right now have voted for this. But let me tell you something. They didn't have the guts to do it. Just like they didn't have the guts to move the embassy to Jerusalem in Israel. They didn't have the guts to do things that they should have done. Just like they didn't take out ISIS. Just like so many other things. I was voted 306 to 223 or something like that by a lot. I was voted to be your president partially because of security. It's a big part of what I talked about. Not only the wall, the military and lots of other things. I think I've done a great job. I think I've done a great job. I'm getting credit from the Real News for doing a great job. But border security is a big part of that. We also have to stop drugs. Listen, we also have to stop drugs. If we don't stop drugs soon, there's never been a time over the last 10 years, and it's gotten worse and worse over the last 5, there has never been a time when our country was so infested with so many different drugs coming from so many different locations. And I believe that President Xi in China, when he made the pledge to me to criminalize fentanyl, I believe that's going to go a long way to helping us. Going to Camp David. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you.
President Trump making comments moments ago on the White House lawn. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Welcome to Sunday Futures. I'm Maria Bartiromo, and the president just spoke with reporters moments ago before heading off to Camp David for a retreat with senior cabinet members. The government shutdown is now entering a 16th day. Joining me right now in an exclusive interview this morning is Republican Senator from Alabama, Richard Shelby. He is the chairman of the Senate Appropriations Committee and serves on the Senate Banking Committee. Senator, it's good to see you this morning. Thanks so much for joining us.
Good morning to you, Maria.
Your reaction to the president. You've had meetings this weekend. Your mandate is to fund this government. Tell us where we are in terms of being at an impasse on this border wall funding.
Well, we're at loggerheads still. We're at an impasse, and I was hoping it would not be this way, but it is. We could settle it. We should, but this has become a political circus. A lot of people on both sides are calling names and so forth. But what we need to do, Maria, is get together. We need to secure our border. I think the president's absolutely right in this. We're close sometimes, but we're far away. And I think we got to quit the political posturing and get down to rational thinking, rational discussions. I know this afternoon some of my staff will be at the White House trying to negotiate to where we are and what can be done. This could be settled in 24 hours or less if we could get together. And I think we've got to get together because ultimately, Maria, this will all end in some negotiated settlement. The American people want us to work together. They want us to do right. They want us to secure the border. They want us to fund the government. We can do all of this. We should have already done it.
Well, you've had an idea of $2.5 billion versus the $5.6 billion that the president wants. What are you hearing on the other side? You know, I know that you're having discrepancies over what to call it, a wall or concrete versus steel. These really all seem like politics.
So it is raw politics. It's posturing. The political equation's changed a little bit. We have a Republican president, a Republican Senate, and a Democratic House. But we all should put security of this nation first, the borders. We all know, Democrats and Republicans should know that we should secure our borders. And it's a question. You mentioned the name wall, barrier, border security. We should get away from that. Fence. And whatever it's called, we should work together. We should say, what is it going to take to secure our borders? And let's go there and quit polarizing and screaming at each other.
So what is it going to take? I mean, the Democrats say that they are for border security. We've got new data from the Department of Homeland Security. Most recent estimates say that the DHS estimated that there were 12.1 million unauthorized immigrants in the United States in January 2014 compared to 11.6 million in 10. What do they say is needed then to get control of our borders, if not a wall?
Well, the wall or fence or barrier, whatever it is, border security, is long in coming. It's not there yet. We've made progress. But I believe the president's right. I believe the president has an obligation to secure the borders, secure the country. And I think he's got a lot of power there. I want to help him do that. But I also want to get the government back in order. We need to do this. We funded 75% of our appropriations. We could do this quickly, or it could last a while. I think if we don't get together, it's going to be protracted.
So what exactly do they want on the other side in order to get the government open again?
Excellent question. When you negotiate with somebody, Maria, and you've done it, you've got to figure out what they want, what we want, and how do we settle and compromise and get something for both sides. Because ultimately, that's what's going to happen. You're going to have to give the Democrats something, but they're against everything at the moment. But they want something. We got to figure out what it really is, and are they willing to negotiate politically in a fair way for both sides.
Are you saying you don't know what they want? You've got to figure out what they want?
Well, I don't think any of us know exactly what they want. Right now, they're just saying they're against the wall, and they're against the numbers that we put out to the president needs and claim they want. So I haven't seen the specific things that they want.
What is the highest number that they are willing to allocate toward the wall? or toward border
Well, that's
security?
a good question. We don't know that until we get into serious negotiation. Of course, they say they're going to stay on 1.3. If they stay on 1.3 and the president stays where he is, there's not going to be any compromise. There's not going to be any opening the government. The people are estranged right now. We've got to get together.
Yeah, I find it really odd that we are entering a 16th day of a government shutdown and you don't know what they want, nor do you know the number that they're willing to go to. Senator, we've got a lot to get into. Please stay with us. We're going to take a short break. You sit on the banking committee. I want to get your thoughts on the volatility from markets as well, affecting 401ks, as well as the economy today after those really boom numbers on jobs. Follow me on Twitter at Maria Bartiromo at Sunday Futures. We'll be right back with Senator Shelby as we look ahead on Sunday Morning Futures. Back with Alabama Senator Richard Shelby. And Senator, you've been really in the thick of all of these talks to potentially get this government back open. Is there another way the president sees to fund the wall just to get the government open in the process?
I believe the president's got a lot more power to defend this country as a commander-in-chief than people realize. And he mentioned earlier today, I heard that he could declare a national emergency. Well, he could, and that gives him more power. But what I'd like to see us do it through the Congress, through the appropriation process, do it right. Because most of the Democrats have voted to secure the wall. A lot of money. Their leadership has. I think right now there's a lot of political posturing going on, a lot of political rhetoric, and we've got to get together and put America first, put the wall, the fence, or the barriers, or border security ahead of a lot of things of political opportunists.
What would calling this a national emergency look like? Do you expect that to take place this upcoming week, where the president calls a national emergency?
I don't know, but the president has alluded to it already, and I think he's got some inherent powers to do some things. I would hope we could do it ourselves through the regular process, but we haven't yet, and that's the legislative process through the Congress. But we'll see what happens. This can't go on forever. It could go on a long time, but it won't be forever.
Right, and we're coming up to...
the sooner we get together and quit blaming each other and put the American people, there's going to be 800,000 people out of this shutdown unemployed.
And
That's going to have a profound effect.
Senator, those 800,000 people are now facing a second pay period where they're not going to get their checks. This upcoming week, January 11th, January 13th, is the second pay period. Is that going to be pressure for the president to try to give the Democrats something that they want, including getting some money for his border wall? I mean, the pressure of those 800,000 people without a check for the second pay period.
Maria, I hope it's pressure on both sides. It's pressure on Democrats and the pressure on us to come together to do our job, do it rationally, to secure our borders, and to fund the government.
Let me ask you about the impact to the economy on this. Obviously, you have been a great student of the economy with the regulatory environment that you have put in place for the financial services sector. Yes, we had a good day on Friday after very good jobs numbers, but you've seen the markets, you've seen the upset and the volatility these last 2 months. How worried are you that this government shutdown impacts the economy, and what can you tell us about the slowdown that so many people are predicting right now?
I think it will have some an economic impact. How much, we don't know yet. You know, the economy is the best I've ever seen, Maria, in my lifetime. Look at the jobs report, even last week. I think the economy could regenerate itself on another level now. Although the stock market has dropped and gone down, a lot of his high-tech stocks, we could get a second wind and take off again. We got a lot going for us in this country. If we put all these things together, quit bickering, quit fighting over little things, and do what's right for the American people.
Well, you also have the competition of China. I'm on my way after the program to San Francisco to interview the chairman and CEO of J.P. Morgan. Jamie Dimon is going to weigh in on Fox Business this week when I do my interview tomorrow. And he's going to talk to us about what things look like right now. But a lot of people worrying about the numbers in China, how the economy there is slowing down, and their efforts to become #1 in so many of the industries that the U.S. is planning on.
Well, we realize trade is a double-edged sword. We need to trade. We need to trade with China. Right now, we have some estrangement there, as you well know. I'm hoping it'll work out. It should be fair trade. It should be fair to all of us. And I think that's the message the president has put out. And I think he'll bring the Chinese to the negotiating table. It can't be a one-way street just for China. But what happens with our relationship with China does affect the world trade. It will affect their economy. It already has. It will affect ours in the long run. But we've got to realize that everything should be on a level playing field as much as we can get there.
Right. So, Senator, let me switch gears and ask you about some of the other pieces of business on your desk in the upcoming Congress, and that is, of course, the confirmation of the president's nominated Attorney General, William Barr. What's the timeline on that, and what are the chances of confirmation of William Barr in the first quarter?
Well, I would think he would. He has been the Attorney General. He served with distinction under President Bush 41. He's well respected, I think, in both sides of the political spectrum. He's solid. I don't know any negatives about him. I think he would be confirmed, but I have to go through the Judiciary Committee, the process, and we need a good Attorney General. We need to get him in place as soon as we can. All
right, Senator, before you go, wrap us up here on what catalysts we need to focus on in terms of understanding whether or not this border battle gets a compromise.
I hope it works out. I hope that we can secure the border and get the government back working.
When is your next meeting with your colleagues? When is your next meeting with your colleagues? What is the catalyst that's going to get things moving?
Well, I'll be back tomorrow in Washington, and this afternoon they're going to be meeting at the White House. I know my top aide, Shannon Hines, of the Appropriation Committee, will be at the White House this afternoon. I think they're probably sparring, if you want to say that, to see what they can talk about, how they can get there. They're not there yet, but they could get there fast if people would come together.
All about who blinks first in the face of this very important and serious issue of border security for the United States. Pretty incredible. Senator, it's good to see you. We'll be watching the developments. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Maria.
Senator Richard Shelby there. President Trump making another pitch for a border wall with Mexico as shutdown talks continue. Plus, how much power House Speaker Nancy Pelosi will have in her new rule after 15 fellow Democrats voted against her speakership. California Democratic Congressman Ro Khanna is with me next live in an exclusive interview as we look ahead on Sunday Morning Future. Stay with us. Back in a moment.